So who are you wearing today?
I'm wearing lipstick by Ah-Shi in color Heart.
I am wearing a DDaye Hunter design shirt, Ah-Shi Beauty makeup, brow, foundation, and lips. And my color is Hellbent.
Miku Henegu Dominique Day Hunter. My name is Dominique Day Hunter. I am Afro Black Saponi, also Irish and Polish descent. I was born and raised on the East Coast. My family and my tribe is from the North Carolina, Virginia area, a little place called Oxford, North Carolina. I am the CEO and artist behind DDaye Hunter Designs, streetwear, and also Eloquent Expressions writing services. I'm a poet, spoken word, hip hop artist. Also dabbling my feet into acting the last couple years. And my favorite res slang or slang from my community is probably my sister says it all the time, and now like I've just been saying it so much recently because I think I've been so far from home and I've missed them. And yeah, my partner just laughs and it's like, I love when you say that. Just like watching a show, somebody just says something like totally like random or totally like crazy. It's just like it's gotta catch you off guard.
Right, yeah. Or it doesn't have the same meaning if it doesn't. So
right.
Alrighty, hello. I am a secular friend, Chachere, also known as Mrs. Lesach. I am Dene, and my clans are Tropahan Nishle, Nachisha Bashachin, Sanjikere Dashache, Nachisha Dashanella. And I'm from Bashbito, Arizona. And all my four clans define me as a proud, unapologetic, and deaf Black woman. And I am the owner of Ah-Shi Beauty and so many other businesses, but I'm here repping Ah-Shi Beauty. And my favorite wrestling is Yada La. And there's different levels of Yada La. Like, there's the Yada La for my husband when he does something crazy, like Yada La Dennis. There's that one. And then there's like the Yada La, like in business when they like misroute my packages, and I'm like, Yada La, like, oh, Yada La. Like, I don't know. Yada La's my favorite one. I have like different ways to say it, but most of the time it's Yada La.
That's what that, and I say like wah, like forget something like wah.
Wah, my mask.
yeah. So, yeah. See, and I didn't know about those until I met Lynette. Well, I mean, we had the conversation, but like, yeah, it's so funny because as soon as you said that, I thought of Lynette, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I see that. Oh, awesome. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Oh my gosh. You two are so amazing. I'm so excited to have you guys in the same space, even though it's virtually, but even better. Okay. So first question. So this episode, a lot of it is about, representation matters, which we know representation matters, right? Like, obviously, we've lived generations, hundreds of years of where we weren't represented, right? Like, we know, we feel it in our bones, in our blood, right? Can you share with us one or two things that made you want to create your line or the products that you make now?
I'll share first. One thing that I really saw was lacking representation was definitely, obviously as a Black Indigenous person, I would say like 5 years ago when I started the seeds of like DDaye Hunter Designs, I actually created that design right there that Lynette's wearing. And it's called My Native Woman. And it represents all different pieces of all different shades and shapes and colors. And honestly, back then, there's still a lot of anti-Blackness that is in our communities, unfortunately. But back then, I was kind of nervous to release it. I was like, I don't know how people are going to respond to this. I'm really glad to say that it's overall gotten a great response. And I think that a lot of things have changed over the last 5 years, and our communities have just really grown and come together and learn more about each other. I think even with social media, just, you know, knowing each other's struggles and understanding that, or if, you know, one homegirl over here doesn't, you can like share something with them real quick and let them know what's going on in the Native community or the Black community, vice versa. So I would definitely say that's one big thing that I really feel like is important. And secondly is just Indigenous womanhood, period. You know, when I first started doing hip hop, the reason was I was starting poetry and spoken word, and mostly the people who were doing so were, you know, all ladies mostly, and they would go first. And, you know, it was kind of like a scattered audience. And then the dudes would come in and do hip hop, and everybody would show up. And, you know, like, I was like, all right, I see. So I was like, all right, let me get into it. So I really do feel like that translates into clothing as well. I really do, you know, from the Bless the Matriarchy design I created for like womb wellness and things like that, just really trying to be, you know, a light to share and show like other femmes like, hey, you know, you can be yourself, you can be feminine and be powerful. You don't have to be whatever version of, like, I guess the version of Native women, you know, or Black Native women, Black Indigenous women that like is acceptable, you know, really just unapologetically being unembarrassed and unapologetic about our femininity and our bodies and things like that.
Yeah. Well, and the like complexity of your identity too, right? Like I can be both. And you know what I mean? Like, and that is so true. Like you can be both. Like there's no person saying like, oh, you can only be this, you can only be that, right? And especially it's like, no, I identify as both, and there's no reason why I can't be both.
Or
you
this
know,
one's Native and this one's Black. No.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, when you think about it, it just comes down to blood quantum. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother story. But yes. We don't have time to get into that. Yeah, whole separate video. We don't have time to get into that. But yes, that's so true. So yes, and yeah, everything that you talk about is so true. I think especially in the realm, not only in your line, but like even like the creative outlet, you know, that you utilize in your life, and how that can also be such a big part of representation is really important. So yay! Oh my gosh, so great. Okay, what about you, Ah-Shi?
So honestly, I feel like creating this is also giving truth and having us speak our truth and living our truth. And it's so important that we do not lose sight of that as being, you know, Native and Black or just Indigenous, period. You know, we're so diverse. And I felt that, you know, with this beauty brand, it's very important that I help showcase to the world that there's no one stereotype of a Native person. We come in all different shades and shapes and hair types, and and people need to see that. They need to understand that. And my whole goal is so that this industry in the world recognize and respect that, because we cannot continue to be swept underneath the rug no more. They're gonna like recognize us and respect us to the utmost. And I feel like that's what really taking back, you know, all that they already put out there and giving it us creating and taking control of the narrative. You know, I'm tired of having our history rewritten and in their point of view. Like, no, I said this is what happened. You know, this is the reason why we don't talk about boarding schools, because, you know, our grandparents are still scarred to it. And I feel like every time we talk about it, is, you know, we're hurting them more than anything, because they're still dealing with that. That trauma is so deep. And I feel like there's a way we as companies, as brands, we show people how we educated the people, but we really just don't just force it on them, because our elders are watching. Everything that we do, our elders are watching. And the one thing that I don't want to do is, you know, hurt my elders, because I don't want them to relive that over and over and over. They did. So just being mindful of our past and moving forward to our to the future, and honestly just balancing our traditional world and our modern world together, that we can still do it. And that the whole world out there, yes, we're here. We may not be running around the way you guys think we do, but we're still here.
Yes, yeah, because we are so, like, look at us right now, like we're all so diverse and we all identify as Indigenous, like, you know what I mean, like people don't understand that, they just really don't.
Yeah,
it's too complex.
Right. Oh, that's just too much for my brain, I can't handle it. Right, yeah, like, oh gosh, exactly. So
all right, so we all represent our own Indigenous communities. You two definitely represent your Indigenous communities. So what is one thing you hope to achieve through your representation?
For me, honestly, like my clothing is actually stems from my poetry, and really that's my first love, is poetry and storytelling. And everything that I do, I try to think about, how can this help somebody? How can this inspire someone? Or just honestly, we go through a lot, in Indigenous communities. We go through a lot, and we have really strong shoulders. We're very resilient. We're very humorous, and we handle it amazingly, unbelievably. But we do struggle, and for me, growing up, being in a dysfunctional home, dealing with alcoholism in my family, dealing with mental health. I'm a huge advocate for mental health, for women's health, for womb health, and for just wellness in general, especially when it comes to, like Ahsaki said, like trauma. We've been traumatized, and I think that if I had to say one thing that I would really like to impart to people, is that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to dig deep within yourself and to get to know yourself, and to be okay in your own skin. Like, you don't have to be like them. You can be you. You don't have to pretend to be happy or pretend to be this or be that. Just being authentically yourself and genuinely healing through that journey. That's the only way that it's really going to transform, that we can transform as people and heal, is to be real and to be honest and authentic with ourselves and others, and be unapologetically ourselves, and surround ourselves with just positivity, like not just positivity, but like people that influence us in a way that's positive, so we can, I think for me and for like my platform, I really understand that toxic positivity is a thing. And I just really want people to know that they can feel safe, just to be real, and to be their authentic self. And honestly, I really seek to heal through that storytelling, that it's not just about a product, or a shirt or anything like that, or a poem or performance, or about me. Yeah, like, it's really about the storytelling behind it. Like, what's the story behind that? And as a shy person, I was always shy, so it's kind of like a representation, like not always having to speak, but just saying things, I guess, just with images and just through the poetic word, really.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I think of that because, when you think about everything that, even like, how you're talking about like boarding schools and stuff, and like, because my dad went to boarding school, so like, I'm daughter and granddaughter boarding school survivors, so it's like even that in itself, and that experience. And then now I feel like our generation is in this time of really just taking initiative and really being like, this is who I am. And we don't just do it for ourselves though, right? That's that healing process. Is like, I'm not just doing it for myself, like I'm doing it for my dad, I'm doing it for my grandma, I'm doing it for these people who were told who they were wasn't right. And so it's like, it's that healing process of undoing it, and having that platform is like a great way to empower people to just be who they are as an Indigenous person, right? So that's just beautiful.
That was beautiful. Deep, and I'm so glad you put that in this discussion is talk about, um, the downside of our mental health, and making it okay to talk about. I mean, people might think, oh God, you're doing everything. You gotta be, there's nothing wrong with you. But really, people behind closed doors, they don't know what type of battles we be fighting. Like I got a nice poker face. But it's just that strength that we have as Indigenous peoples. And sometimes it gets tiring. So I'm so glad, Dom, you really brought that up to, tell our sisters and brothers and sisters on, it's okay. You do need to talk about it, and healing is a hell of a process, but it can be done.
And I think it's important that we're there for one another too. We got to support one another. Definitely.
Yeah. Like we always talk about, being modern day matriarchs, we have like a whole another level of of responsibility, and and that's the thing, that poker face, we all got it because we were taught.
Yeah, we're taught to be strong. That's like in our DNA. Like we have to be strong. We have that willpower that we instill from our grandmothers and our mothers, and it's just in our blood. We have no choice but to be strong. But sometimes, being strong also it can be a curse too. And that's hard to admit sometimes. Sometimes you have to be like, I have to take a break. You have to breathe. So I'm so happy that Dom, really brought that up, because that does need to be talked about.
Yeah, because I feel like strength can also be seen in taking that break, or having those emotions, right? Like to be able to feel that and be able to communicate that is a strength, because we're not just carrying our own trauma, like we're responsible for a lot of trauma at this point, and being able to work through that, like that's literally like more than like most people ever have to go through in their entire life, right? And we literally have to do that every day, especially when you have the platform that you two have. Like it's big. Like that's a big deal, like a really big deal.
Yeah, I think one of the big things too, along with that, if I could add, is that vulnerability isn't a weakness, and I think that obviously surviving genocide and slavery and all the things that our people have endured, like Ahsaki said, we had no choice to be strong, and but I think it's good to remember that within the right context, within the right safe spaces, even if that's just starting within our own selves, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to not always have the answers, and I know that sometimes for the sake of others, and caring for others, like Ahsaki said, like we have to remember to care for ourselves. And it's not selfish. Like if anyone's watching this today, and I know it's hard being in our communities. There's so much work that needs to be done, and sometimes self-care can feel like a luxury, especially if you're like a caretaker or a mama, which I'm not even. I'm an auntie, so I can send them home when I'm done visiting them and babysitting them. But self-care is really something that we need, because you can't pour from an empty vessel. When if a plane is going down, or if there's turbulence, like they always say, put your air oxygen on first. So just implementing things, whether it's just prayer meditation in the morning, whether it's just like eating something that's nutritious for you, just little things, going for a walk. It really is important to care for ourselves, and our ancestors love us. You know what I mean? Like we're still their babies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you have to think about it that way to take care of yourself, just think about your grandma, your mama, those that have come before you, and how much they love you, and how much they be worried about you. Like, girl, did you eat anything today? Like, and be that person for yourself. It's really important. And don't forget that the next generation, the kids, are looking at us too. So, we want to teach them how to care for themselves as well.
Remember, we're having Turquoise in one of our patriarch videos. We're talking about self-care too. And we were talking about how, sometimes we do the self-care and we feel guilty about it, doing it. But, it's important that we take care of ourselves. Definitely. I agree.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up too, because we had this whole conversation about that. Like, you know, because you think of, like you were saying, Dom, like you think of like the woman who came before you, you know, with your ancestors, and you're like, well, but now because of what they provided for us, we have the ability to like do these things and have self-care, right? Like we have that ability now because of their survival. And so it's like, I think they'd be like, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? Take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like you do have to remember that, because when you're thinking about, when you're in your own head, you're like, oh no, I have other things to do, but you really should take care of yourself.
And I feel like you heal them. You know what I mean? Like, because they're in us, they're in our DNA. And they're suffering, as we carry their suffering and as we carry their trauma, we also carry all their hopes and all their dreams. And, you know, they're within us, you know, they are a part of us. And so taking care of us helps to heal them. It helps to heal their spirit and help them to continue on with their journey. So,
right. No, yeah, that's great.
Just you saying that.
I know, I got chills too.
I know. What is one or two challenges that you get? Obviously, self-care is a challenge. It's always a challenge. It's always a challenge. We're trying to take over the world, right? And that can be hard. But what is one or two other challenges that you two face in having, you know, while you have this representation, or even not only like with your community, but now like non-natives, you know, that are now, because you have this platform. So what are some other struggles that you have?
Okay, I'll go on this one. Well, first, you know, you get hit with colorism, and you know, being proud, being Danette, and you know, not Shifa, you know, a lot of people just see you as just of your skin color. And growing up, you know, even building this company, I'm constantly always getting tested. You know, like, are you really Native? You know, and it's like, yeah, I am. And it's just, and then even like as I share my story on a national platform, you know, they're still looking at me like, wait, are you really Native? And I'm like, how are you yes, I'm Native, you know, when I go into these interviews, and it's like, wow, we have a lot of work to do. But yeah, that's one of the major challenges I have, is constantly, you know, having to defend myself constantly, and others that are, you know, multicultural, multiracial. And I feel like within our work, everyone's going to, you know, it's going to be a thing in the past of even asking, like, how Native are you? You know, that blood quantum needs to go. But you know, but I understand too, but it's just like, it's deeper than that. We as Indigenous people, you know, that's not how we are. I feel like that's like a colonized mindset. It's like, no, as long as we have five fingers on both hands, our blood is red, you know, we have a heart, we have two lungs, you know, like one brain, we're all one people. Doesn't matter what part. And the thing is that we're all cultured, you know, we have so many similarities. But anywho, I feel like, unfortunately, that was a lot of pushback, just even to this day I deal with. But the other major part, there's two major parts, but yeah, the other one I can definitely get is the support of my beauty brand. Sometimes it's like people literally ask, like, is it legit, or is the products really real, or if they already, like, I guess, down itself before they even get to try it. And I was like, but you guys don't question all these other beauty brands, you just go buy it. But you know, do you ask what's inside their product? No, you just buy it. But why is it that I release something and all of a sudden you guys all become some color chemists? And I'm like, I'm not going to give you guys anything bad. Believe me, trust me. You know, I literally go up above and beyond to make sure, you know, my team, if we follow all FDA regulations, like we literally are running just like these major beauty brands. But the only thing is, I'm here for you. I'm building this for you. But it's like, wow, like how many times I got to get questioned? Like, it's just really weird. And I feel like that same energy that I get and we all as Native brands get, like, have to defend our own brand that we created for you, for our community. We get hit with, is it real? Is it like, is it good stuff? But yet you can go buy their stuff in Sephora real quick. don't even question them. Just buy it because it's cool. So it's just those two main things that just really, they're really something.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And I think that sadly, like you were saying, Aseki, like, for most brands and things like that, people don't really bat an eye, but it just comes along with the whole colorism and everything like that, because it's like, we have to go above and beyond, and I think it goes back to that. We're kind of so used to that. We're so used to it. We shouldn't be, but we are, and it's that gets tiring, and that's part of the whole burnout slash self care, honestly. And I
Back in my cave.
right, you have to have your little safe spot. I'm telling you, sometimes I just gotta turn off my social media and just like escape, because it's rough out there. It's really rough. Along with colorism too, it's interesting because I know we've talked a lot, and I know we had two different perspectives. And anyway, I made this post or whatever, and it was talking about Black Indigenous representation with voting and stuff. And of course, I have my winter skin on, turquoise. So I guess my photo, they're like, "Aren't you white?" So I had to come back with that and just be like, "Nego and nego DDaye," like nego saponi, nikasto go benin, like you know what I mean. You just had to hit them up with the language real quick and let them sit down and think about it. But I think another thing to do with that too, as far as legitimacy goes, is that non-native, non-BIPOC brands, especially like white brands and things like that, they have that intergenerational wealth. They have that intergenerational knowledge. Creators keeping me humble right now. Yeah, so they have all of that. You know what I'm talking about. When you start getting up there, and like, all right, girl. So,
calm down. I know. I hear
Yeah,
it. They be doing that all the time to me
right.
too. They're like, you'll be censoring me. I'm like, I'm trying to get there. I'm like, not that time.
If there's anyone watching, you don't have to be perfect to make it. Okay, I am living proof of that, literally. I am always messing up, but yeah, I mean, they really do have that head start, of the intergenerational wealth and knowledge. And when it comes to business, when it comes to investors, when it comes to anything, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, usually, like, when we start our brand, it's like, all right, like, I don't have a degree in this, or if I do, it's like, I mean, for me, it's like being a one-woman show. I know Ahsaki knows, like, it's like product development and product testing and brand awareness and marketing and customer service and PR, like, that's all just us most of the time. I know we're both growing and we're trying to slowly, I know Ahsaki's killing the game with her in store, her stores and everything. So, but it's tough in the beginning. Like, you're all you got, and your family, like, they're supportive. They'll root you on, and they'll show up for your events and stuff, which is awesome. But they don't really know all the ins and outs of everything you got to do. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, you're still working,"
Yeah.
or "Oh, you got to work again," or "You should just," and I know sometimes we do need to take a break, but it's hard when you're just the only person doing it. Like, like Ahsaki said, you're trying to build like a beauty empire. You're trying to create, change perceptions of Black Indigenous people, and it's just, you kind of start from scratch and learn a lot. I was never knew anything about business, about marketing, or screen printing when I started any of this stuff, and still don't know a lot, but hey, I mean, like I said, one day at a time, one step at a time. Definitely have had some amazing people in my life, including Ahsaki, and honestly, just mentors. Just be humble as much as you can. It's hard. We're humans and we're knuckleheads, but try to stay humble. Try to just listen, and try to learn, and just take one step at a time in prayer.
I think both of you bring up a really good point of because what I talked about in the beginning of like our main value set of like serving our community and making these things for our community, and so like empowerment and showing people that we can do it, right? And it's sometimes it's that lateral aggression is like extremely hard to deal with it. Not only that, but it's like, this is my purpose and I'm doing this for you, right? And so that can be extremely hard. But we all know, like, it's all trauma, right? It's all trauma. And it's like, yeah, it's that mindset that's really hard to break, and like we're just trying to make it through. We just got it. I'm doing this to make a better world, right? Like, but that can be so hard to deal with when sometimes when you get that like that, you know, when your community or any indigenous community really is like, but wait, what? Who are you? But wait, you're not brown, or you're not lighting up, right? It's like literally, it's just, yeah, it can be
My
a
response
struggle.
is, if you ain't my mama, you can't tell me who I am. So, period. We go talk to her.
Yes,
We got questions.
that should be our quote from this episode.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have our little young ones up, and like you said, not all of us go to college, get a degree, and I think it's just so amazing that there are so many indigenous businesses out there that just came out of nowhere, and you guys definitely have come a long ways, and your business is growing, which is amazing. And I'm totally supportive of all indigenous businesses, organizations, and again, representation and all that. So for those who are coming up who want to start a business or anything, our indigenous youth, what advice would you give to them about starting their own business?
Oh, I got you. Listen, like listen.
He's like,
Prepare, plan, research, plan, research, plan and research. Okay. But no, honestly, like when you start businesses, do it with purpose. Like when we were talking about this whole episode, do it with purpose, because this is like a baby. Any businesses that you create, you're putting life into it. And know that, like, just like a child, this baby of ours is going to be helping others, or it's going to be moving. And also, like with my business, it's a tool. It's a tool that's going to be a ripple effect to help others, to create opportunity. So you build businesses not to become rich and famous. That's one way to do it, and see how far that takes you. But when you build a business, you really have to dig deeper. Why you want to do this? I know people be like, it's just lipsticks and the yada yada yada. I'm like, nah, bro. It's like bigger than lipstick. This is creating indigenous generational wealth. So when our kids go off a reservation and go to college, if they stay at home and go to college, doesn't matter if they're just. We have so many brilliant, talented people at home, young and old. Sometimes they don't even need to go to college, but what they need is opportunity. So all our small businesses are a vital part into our economy. So when you do start this business, and I'm just saying this like in the camera, when you start this, please, 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 please put your heart and soul into it. Don't just do it, just to be cool and just say, I got 10,000 followers. No, because literally, the people that are watching you are actually following you, and they're actually, you're influencing so many people. So because as internet people, when we come into this world, the first thing our mother or grandmother does, cut it in corn pollen on our tongue. And when that corn pollen is on our tongue, which means everything we say, everything we do is powerful, and you got to do it with purpose. And so within all our indigenous community teachings, is everything that we do has a purpose. There's a meaning bigger than what it is. So your business got to be big. Your business got to be able to help now and into the future. Nasco plan as far as you can go, and and leave a legacy, because all the businesses I'm creating is not for me. It's for our future generations, and I cannot explain that enough. Like all this I'm building is really for our future, so that they would never be in an industry that they have no representation of. We went through it as a young child. We had no beauty brand that we could see ourselves in at all. No one can actually talk the same language or understand the same things that we go through as indigenous people. So that's why it's so important, y'all. If you start that business, do it from here, because everything else will come through. And preparation needs opportunity. So prepare for those opportunities, because and I'm making ways just so that you have these opportunities. So you start these businesses, I'm here, open up these doors for y'all right behind me. And pass me up. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Definitely.
Sounds
That's
yummy.
what I say too. I'm like, man, just get so big that I become irrelevant, honestly,
Right.
like the ideas that we have, let those continue and ripple. But one day we're going to be older and we're going to be buying your products. Okay. So, yeah, definitely. Like what I would say too, to add on to what Ahsaki said, is definitely dreaming. So for us, we believe that first there's a thought. That's how it's born. It's like a seed. And then the seeds are planted when you speak your words. And the result of that physical representation of your dreams and of your words, grows up just like corn, just like the tobacco. So I would definitely say, especially I know, with mascots, with racism, with lateral oppression, even with, trauma within our own families. I know what it's like to feel like, you're quiet, you're shy, you don't know if you can do it, or you're the baby, or, you're just another native kid, you're just a scrubby, dusty kid, brown kid, and you're not skinny enough, or you're not this enough, you're not that enough. That's just hate. That's just jealousy. Don't let it even touch you. Don't what the biggest advice I can say is to invest in yourself. And investing in yourself starts with self-love. As you love yourself, you will spend time with yourself. As you spend time with yourself, you'll learn how to love yourself more. You'll get to know yourself and the things you like and the things you're good at. I started writing poetry when I was 13. And it's something I enjoy, something I love. Always, like Ahsaki said, follow your passion, follow something that you love, whether it's science or math or whatever it is, just follow that gut instinct. That's your purpose. And I know there's a lot of pressure from outside, and if you don't feel like, you see yourself going to college, you see yourself going somewhere else, I would say just try everything, good, at least once. And yeah, I mean, I would say definitely just invest in yourself, love yourself, dream big, and definitely get you some mentors, get you some positive on you that can build you up, that have been where you've been. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I know sometimes it can seem kind of clicky, where people are like, oh my gosh, like it trips me out even to this day, like, oh my gosh, I saw you on Instagram. I'm like, girl, I'm just a human. Like, you're fine, DM me, ask me a question. If you need help, like, ask me. I may not know the answer, but I can like maybe send you to somebody who does. So
I feel like that's how I was when I heard my name.
I know.
I was like, oh my god.
Trust me, girl. I put my ribbon skirt on one leg at a time. So,
no, that's amazing. No, thank you so much. I think, this is such great conversation. And I think one big takeaway too is the mentorship piece. I think as Indigenous people, as we're breaking these barriers and we're making this room for an unconditional love and support, it's important for our youth to know that we're always here for them, and no matter what, we're gonna support them regardless. Like, that's it. That's what we want to do for our future generations. And so I think it's a really great takeaway. So thank you for that. Our babies, we just got to take care of babies.
Yes.
Yes. I think we had one more question saying if we wanted to add anything else, but
the res food part.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm on that.
Okay, let's do that real quick.
Okay, because I gotta bounce, but yeah, I'll go really quick.
Okay, you go real quick.
So because it's, holiday season and y'all all know that it song, you name it, I like green beans, tomatoes. Okay, I have a remix. All right. I'm like a res kid for real. All right. And I can't get no mutton out here. I mean, I can get some type of mutton out here, but the mutton out here is like low fat mutton. Like their sheep don't eat nothing. I don't know what's wrong with them. So I just don't even dare do it. So when I get home, when I'm driving home, like that's the first thing on my mind. They say Georgia on your mind. No. On my mind, mutton's on my mind. So my remix goes, I need a cheese, a ton, all that, you name it, that's mine. So what I crave the most is a mutton. I need all of it, from the head to all the insides, you name it. Like, I know people are probably like, non-natives like, what? Yes, Ms. Lesage loves her some muttons, a lot of tit and a lot of chi and a lot of you name it. Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry.
That's amazing. Yay. Oh my God, that's so amazing.
I'm like, now I'm hungry. Dang it.
I know.
Watering. Okay, I'll say mine really quick too. My favorite, it's like a combination. It's a combo. Really like some bison stew, some ground like bison chili my mom makes. Oh my gosh, I try to make it. I'm almost there.
Good.
That with cornbread, especially
my
some red cornbread. Ooh, love me some cornbread. Put some jam on that. Put some butter on that. Oh my god, my mouth's water. I'm hungry, y'all. I haven't eaten. Got my appetite up. I don't know if I'm gonna be making some cornbread. I'm gonna be sad with my sandwich. Y'all inspired me to cook.
Oh my god, that sounds so good. Oh, I miss bison. I miss bison meat living down here in the Southwest. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. Yes. Oh my God. The hearing red foods is like my favorite part because, well, for me, because it's like, oh, we're so diverse. We also eat a lot of different foods, right? And like, mine was definitely more like bologna sandwiches with chips.
That's some red food and a shashta to add to that.
Yeah, that's some real red stuff because we call those. Yeah, we call the chips Indian lettuce.
We're so unhealthy sometimes, but it's all right.
Right. That was our snack. That's all we could afford. Yeah. Get some bologna out the fridge.
Mine's the much less like, the fried potatoes with like Spam or, hamburger, tortillas.
Yes. Ground beef and potatoes and green chili.
Yes, really, yes.
Burrito lady, where are you?
Oh my gosh, it sounds good.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you ladies so much. This is so amazing. Oh, I love these conversations. It just literally just makes you feel so good. Just everything. And it makes me you made me really hungry too.
I know. I would I'm a foodie, so I got a list, but that's my favorite.
Thank you ladies so much.
Y'all stay safe.
Bye.
Ladies.
Hey everybody. Thank you for tuning in for our final episode of Season 2. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to our YouTube channel. And we'll see you next year for Season 3.